Evening again. So from last week, we've opted to start again, would you believe? We've actually had a bit of an epiphany. We've opted to try and even up the playing field a little. So we've swapped sides. Slight adjustment to the order of battle, just to try and get a little more balance perhaps. We'll see how we go. So we've already done the French deployment in a sense. So we've got the French counters on the table, which you probably see there's one there, one there, one there. That would be Norman's Cavalry Brigade, and here is the French Infantry Brigade with its batteries. That's part of the reserve artillery for the French sitting up there. And the Corps Commander, so that's Compan's division, part of his division. So I'm playing the French tonight. Anton and Matt will take on the Prussians. Prussian side has not changed, so they'll do the deployment. So we've essentially done scouting. That's their scouting. They made two, failed two. The rest of the French are yet to appear. So just for interest's sake, French-wise, there's the companion brigade for this division is sitting there. I've put them all on the lee side of the hill so they cannot be engaged by the Prussian artillery batteries. The two counters up the front, well, they were my dummies, of which they did not scout either of them. They attempted to scout this one here, failed. That is an infantry brigade, and over here I have another infantry brigade. I've put them significantly out of the range of the Prussians. This one though will still allow me the 30 centimetres radius to deploy into the front section of that town there, so that'll be totally okay. My plan here is to position as much artillery on the hill but right on the apex, so I've got the extra ability to shoot pretty much across the table here. That's a 12 pounder sitting there, so that's going to hopefully cause a bit of grief. I'm going to attach the majority of my batteries to the Bold Commander. I've got two Bold Commanders to play with. Actually, sorry, I've actually got more than that. I'm going to put both my Bold Commanders on the hill in a semi-on-table reserve out of artillery shots. So I'm going to make the Prussians deploy, hopefully they'll deploy all their batteries, and then find out they can't shoot anything. Evil Dave at work. So then what that'll hopefully give me is a couple of turns of firing with at least 4 batteries on the hill, and I can cause some damage before they get here and all the forwards orders they're about to invoke on me. So we'll see how this goes. So we're just waiting. You can see there's a big hunk of Prussians sitting over there. So we'll see how we go. Looking forward to it. So I'm purely the frogs, French. Slight adjustment. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this or not. I'll actually zoom in. How's that? That's the Prussians. So Steinmetz and Mecklenburg make up, essentially we're breaking them into divisions, so that's a division. Then you've got Horn, Keetzler with his advanced guard, reserve artillery, reinforcements, this is Rommel, which is part of the Horn's division. Over here, you go with that, here you go. So Jerkis's cavalry division off table. I'll walk you over to my French. Had a few adjustments here. I've done a bit of looking around to try to see how we can give the... I'm not sure how that's going to come out for you all, but I'll put a PDF up anyway. Hello again, people. So as I mentioned earlier, we did reset this game, change sides, having me on my own over there playing the French across the area there. So we played a few turns. In fact, we played 5 turns, which is actually pretty good. So it was a very good evening, actually. A lot got done. It was a very interesting deployment, and if you watch the lead-in video here, you would have seen the initial scouting, which revealed the Norman's Cavalry Brigade of Wurtembergers and the French Marines over there. It was the first French Marines, which are, for this scenario, are veterans. And then the Allies proceeded to commit their deployment, and as we can see here, we have, this is the Prussian Lieb Regiment. They deployed directly in front of Mockern with artillery support. Another brigade of Prussians, that is the East Prussian, 1st East Prussian Regiment, just hiding behind that little wooded area from the French artillery. They've just got their reserves on. Turn 4 the reserves came on, so there's 3 battalions of Prussian Landwehr. I'm just going to, I can't remember who's who in the zoo here. So that's Rummel. Then we've got over here, there's York sitting there with his Silesian Landwehr. East Prussian Grenadier Battalion, more Landwehr. The reserve artillery, 12-pounder battery, 6-pounders, which is attached to the brigade. Another 6-pounder battery over here. They left a fairly large, interesting gap here, which I had thought would be for their cavalry. Lo and behold, there's their cavalry. So that's Kaitzler's advanced guard. What I found interesting, as we were talking afterwards, after we'd finished the round, that they've put the 2 Landwehr, the East Prussian Nationals and the Landwehr in the front. They've kept the Brandenburg Uhlans and the mixture of Brandenburg and Lieb Hussars to the rear. They've only suffered 1 casualty. They were being engaged by the French batteries on the hill as they trundled up here. So they've had 2 moves on the table, the forwards move. As you can see, there's a significant amount of French movement on that hill now. So what occurred was this French brigade here, which is, where is our guys, Hillier, under the advanced guard division. They were left out on the flank here. No support really here, because they didn't come on till turn 4. So they essentially marched all up here alone under the watchful lens of the French artillery on that hill. There's 2 batteries there, both 6-pounder batteries, but still they've got the extra range, so they're firing a metre. So you can see this is my stick of artilleryness. So we've had them, I'll just put that down for you so you can get an idea of the range. So if you had the extra 10 centimetres, you're probably around there where my fingers are. So we've had them in range for pretty much the entire game, and we've been peppering them the entire game. What you're not seeing is what's not in this brigade anymore. So what's left, that there was a Prussian reserve unit sitting here. It had taken 8 casualties. My artillery was doing it a lot of harm. He had left a large Landwehr battalion here, which was my initial target. It got to 6, then I pushed it to 8, and he tried to sort of hide it. Eventually he came out. So what occurred, the reserves, is that instead of probably going up the hill, please note that these were not here, that this is the French cavalry, which are my reserves. They have moved significantly fast to get over the hill and put some pressure on this lot. I'm not sure how I'm going to go now, because most of these are full strength, though they are there is some unformed units here. So he took a sidestep move. If he'd actually done an advance, he would have been outside my 45-degree arc, which would have forced me to wield the guns. And I went first, so he had the opportunity here to actually get in under the guns, and not take the casualties. But he took a sidestep, which kept him within 45-degree arc. The artillery fired. I did roll exceptionally well here. I think I got a 10, which caused 2 casualties and therefore dispersed that battalion. So this brigade has now hit the falter. My next fire, I fired the other 6-pounder battery into the landwehr and I rolled an 11, which dispersed them as well. So he's lost 2 battalions in one move. So he's down to, they've got the Brandenburgers, and again that's the 2nd East Prussian sitting up there. He's got his grenadiers to the front. They are being peppered by some skirmishers. So what's occurred here is the French cavalry have deployed. They came in at the centre. I issued one of those lovely CNC orders. I can't quite remember what it was, but it allowed me, the extra forwards move, that was correct. Yes, I generated the extra forwards move. We got up behind my infantry, which had actually come to the crest of the hill. It had remained hidden up until then. I think the objective of this area here was to actually come up and try and make me reveal what I've got hidden behind the hill. So I came to the top, to the crest in line, waiting for him to come up. Then my cavalry spurred on with a forwards move, got in behind me. I've then gone to column and allowed the cavalry to come through. It's all light cavalry. It's not high quality, most of it's line campaign. I do have a grenadier campaign sitting out the front there. It'll be these guys here. So we're probably going to attempt to initiate some charges here in the next turn, just to see if I can force them into square, and then I'll get my infantry. It'll be a solid advance. I'm probably end up going to issue a redeploy. You'll probably note the deployment line for the French is actually up this area here, just behind that road. So I have got a fairly good opportunity to get up here and engage. I will likely issue a redeploy, and I will actually push the left flank of the Prussians in if I can. I am going to commit the whole division to this attack. So I've actually moved my veterans. I'll come around here so you can get a better view. So as you can see, there's 5 battalions here. The second line are reservists. Front line, nice shiny uniforms. We're using them as Marines. One thing that this scenario has is lots of Marines and we don't have them, so we're a bit of a challenge. Again, more Marines. This is the 1st Marine Regiment. So veterans. I think these 2 are Grenadiers. So I'm going to attempt to push through here and around there. Turn 5, I think as the Prussians, we have a clear advantage at this point. As the Prussians, having melted in here, I'm the French now. So what I've done here, though, as you can see, there's the batteries. I've actually put my reserve artillery under my 2 bold brigadiers. That just allows me to keep them fairly active with the extra roll automatically. So I can just issue the artillery assault and I've got my re-roll automatically anyway without going to the brigade commander. In previous games I've noted my opponents have actually put their massed artillery under a poor brigade commander. I would suggest, if anyone plays GDA2, not to do that, because if you want to issue a brigade and a artillery assault, you're a bit strapped because you can't. It's one or the other. So I think if you do put your reserve artillery, attach it to your brigade artillery, then you put it with a bold. It gives you a huge benefit. As you see here, I initially had my artillery up on this line. Those 12 pounders over there have peppered mine. I've slowly just moved them back, taken the 5 centimetres. I've covered their retreat with infantry. They're now facing the wrong way because we're going to get out of range. I want to try and force him to come forward. hoping he will, and then I'll start peppering him with my artillery on the hill just to get him in range. The fight for the village. This is interesting. I may have made a boo-boo. I've actually got skirmishers in the front portion here. They were quite large. It was a 6 or 7 stand skirmisher line down to 3. I've been out skirmished by the Prussians, sadly. Again, my Marines are occupying the village. He may attempt to come in to try and get there with a forwards move, maybe, because they'll just flee. Then he'll manage to occupy that unformed. If that's the case, then I'm obviously going to have to attack him. The beauty of this is he's actually got his best units in the rear now. He's marched his line through and left his grenadiers to the rear. We've got a bit of again, artillery here. There's an artillery exchange about to commence. I've already had one crack at him because he unlimbered, so I got a freebie, only caused 1 casualty. It's moving very, very fast. I think the situation for the Prussians on their far flank over there could become dire. From the last game we played, the French player deployed across this line. You watch that stick there. Right up to the deployment. Therefore, everything is in range. So the Prussian artillery in the last game literally went to town on the French artillery. We probably destroyed 3 to 4 batteries. We'd also issued a lot of forwards order. Just to get in, we cover this distance very, very fast to actually get into contact. There was no softening up. This was a pure bayonet execution, and we'd actually gone after the French artillery. So 3 to 4 batteries destroyed, removed that threat, and kept us very much in control of the artillery duel. In this case, the beauty of having the table in my man cave is I've stood here and thought, okay, how am I going to play this? Because they have superior troops to the French, probably around even in numbers, but they are far superior in troop strength. There's quite a few grenadiers here. They do have land where I do understand that, but as we saw in the last game, the Prussians really smashed the French hard. It'll depend on how aggressive they are. They have been very aggressive on their left flank, but I think too aggressive, and it's possibly going to come undone if I can actually seal the deal over there. So my tactic for Mockern was to sit on the crest of the hill with my artillery. So I've got 4 batteries across there. So this is not the standard one in the GDA book. So as I said again, I've gone to core level. I much prefer that. I think the scenario is large enough. This table is actually 8 feet wide. On the ground scale, if you look at any maps of the actual historical conflict, if you go this size, you can easily play core level. If you play the straight scenario of the book, you're probably looking at a 6x4, maybe even smaller, to equate for the ground. 1 millimetre is a yard type scenario, so this is about 2 odd miles across. If I'd added another table on, which we had considered, we would have pushed it out to where Dombrowski's poles were sitting, and then added probably the last Prussian brigade and maybe even a Russian brigade on the far flank out there, and actually had that fun out there with the poles. That's something that we might consider for the future if I go back to rewriting some of these. But as you can see, it's sort of in the balance. We'll crack on Friday night and we'll see what occurs. But I think for this scenario, my advice to anyone playing it, French back here, what the French did last time was they spread themselves right out across the table. They had nothing in reserve. I've played it slightly differently. My artillery's up the front. I had 2 brigades on the rear side of this hill waiting. So they did scout 1, which is my vets, and they scouted the cavalry brigade. I put my dummies on the front, and they didn't scout them, but neither here nor there. I still had to deploy my brigade in here and my brigade behind the town. They actually thought, when we were discussing it, that my marker here was a feint, and I might have left it open because they are probably of the thought process that I tend to do things illogically at times, because everyone expects, well, so what's the old saying? Expect the unexpected. So I've actually almost formed myself into a box in case they went for the big outflanking move around the side again. Whereas last time we went for the outflanking move around the side and he had nothing to stop it. So this is actually turning into a very interesting game at this point in time. So we'll see how we go next Friday. I'll see you then. Cheers. Hi everyone, so it's Friday night. We shall be convening in about 45 minutes to kick off turn 6. So I thought I'd have a recap. You probably just finished watching the other part, so I'm going to put all these together. So French in Mockern still hold it. Just for interest's sake, all these lovely little buildings here are all 3D printed by me. This one here, for instance, is the Mockern building. It's from that chap in Germany who creates all those lovely 3D printing files, and I've got all his Napoleonic range currently, which I have been printing slowly. And also, as a plug, if you are interested in these buildings, I do have the license to produce, so you can always hit me up. So what we have, what I'm expecting, Prussians will make a play for the town and get rid of the skirmishers. Logical move, I'd crack a forwards move in and see if I can get in there, and then we start fighting for this part of the town. Lots of Prussians over here. Landwehr on, it's got a brigade hiding there, not sure what it's going to do. It's a bit worried about all that artillery. I would be too, but us French are more than happy for him to come out and get smashed by all those guns on the hill, as you can see. All that lovely French artillery. If you've watched the previous videos, as I said, we've reset the table, so we've swapped sides. So Anton and Matt versus me. I'm the French, just something different. I fought the Prussians as the Prussians all the scenarios so far. Matt's done the bulk of the heavy lifting, and I've just sat back and just manoeuvred a little. So every scenario so far has been a Prussian victory. So one thing I did note that we did last turn was when the unit that was here dispersed, under the rules when it dispersed, anything within 10 centimetres it bursts through and then is removed. So this battalion here will start the next turn unformed. We did sort of toss around because there was a large Landwehr sitting in here. It also suffered a dispersal. It had 2 cavalry units within 10. So under the letter of the law, they both go unformed as the hundreds of Landwehr scatter through their ranks. So the Prussian advance guard is in a bit of a pickle. He will first off be rolling for a fault at the beginning of the turn, and we'll see what goes from there. What will happen here is, as you can see, there is a lot of French cavalry. I suspect I might be charging down there. I'm going to try and push hard. I'm also going to be probably issuing a redeploy in the next probably 2 to 3 turns. And I'm going to try and push an attack. Follow my stick. Here's my stick. I'm going to try and push an attack towards those Prussians there. I'm going to put these guys to the sword. Yes, in great French glory. I'll take some stills later. I've actually been busily ordering more AB, generals, etc. I'll come right down. Let's see if you can see the latest addition to the French generals. Where are you, my friend? There he is. For a cavalry commander. And over here, there's my Mont, who is enjoying this battle. For this battle, he's actually rated superior. We got a good roll, but Marmont was a quality commander in his time anyway. And I think in this particular battle, he did have it over the Prussians. The Prussian commander control was woeful. Blucher didn't know what he was doing. So we'll see how we go. As you can see, there's a bit of a mixture of troops on here. I should have mentioned this earlier. So For some of the troops, you'll see these guys here. Oh, I've got it the wrong way. There you go. Poles. They're pretending to be Marines. They've lowered their standard, obviously. French, who wants to be French? Polish, much better. You might get that from, I love the Grand Duchy of Warsaw. It's probably one of my favourite Napoleonic groups. I've got quite a few Poles. Do love them dearly. So we'll see what happens. I won't bore you with too much. That's 5 minutes of your valuable time. Look forward to seeing how the rest of the battle pans out. If I might try and do a bit of filming during the game just to try and keep it ticking over. But I'll see you soon. Cheers. All right, we're into it. We just started turn 6, everyone. Anton's over there doing his move. Just show his arms. He's very, he lives in the closet. Handsome dugger, but doesn't really show his face for TV purposes. He's not under contract. Here we go. The Prussians are coming up. He's waving. So they tried the forwards order. Didn't win the initiative. Mostly because of Matt. Because we're blaming Matt. We've got the forwards order, 2d6, he's going for his forwards order. So what's happened over here while they continue moving is the French won the initiative, declared a charge, went after the unformed column. They didn't form square, but they stayed there. So we actually got into combat. So we have Elan. The brigade did recover, he rolled 6 from hesitant, so he's now hesitant. So we'll see what happens there. So we're going in with Glory and Elan, see if we can bust through. The cavalry brigade in support went hesitant, which really was the cause for them losing the initiative. So the French had one brigade go hesitant under the command of a bold brigadier. Sadly, failed both dice, which allowed, by getting the initiative, we reoccupied the Mockern. So we'll see how we go. Still in the balance. Alright, just quickly, we're back. We've just resolved the combat. The French chasseurs beat the column by 2, causing infantry to disperse. So we've taken the ground. So it's looking pretty poorly for the Prussians because the French cavalry are looking to have a crack at the Prussian cavalry next time, possibly. So we'll see how the next turn rolls. Stay tuned. Right, turn 7. Here we are, French coming around the corner here. The brigade is hesitant, so we're avoiding that gun battery. As you can see there, because they're going to shoot straight ahead, can't affect the cavalry. French cavalry's gone forward again. They have played post of honour. We're going after the East Prussian National Cavalry, which are unformed. And the French this turn, for their right flank division, have issued the redeploy, and we've switched to attack orders. So we're moving to attack the Prussian right. Hang on, Prussian left, my right. Anyway, left and right mixed up. Lots of Prussians over here. They're preparing to attack Mockern. They're a bit scared of my skirmishers. Don't be scared. Who are they? Fusiliers. Yes, so they are Fusiliers. So they could disperse those Fusiliers and go into skirmish and go into the wood, providing they are veterans. I think worth looking that up. There is an option there that they can't form out in open ground, but can go into woods and stuff. Right, just quickly, we just finished turn 7. So what's happened here? The French chasseurs, which knocked off, as you remember last turn, the infantry battalion, have come through again. We've now engaged East Prussian National Cavalry. We've come down with post honour, as I mentioned. It was 6 casualties to 3. We're going to hold the ground, and we have set, currently that brigade is faltering because of artillery fire from the hill, rolling a 12 and then getting a destiny on the brigade and blowing the head off his brigade commander. So there's now a headless horseman down there, and that's set the brigade to falter immediately. So it's looking pretty interesting on this flank. And as we can see, that's Jurgis's division, 2 Dragoon, 2 Landwehr coming to hopefully steady the ship. Alright, we are into turn 8. So what's happened? The French on the hill here have played now is your time and declared a charge against the Prussian grenadiers down here. What I did forget though is it's not an infantry assault, is it? No. So my battalion in columns coming on its own. We've charged down there. He's wheeled to face me. We've exchanged some volleys. I've fired my 3 CDs and I've pushed him up to 9 casualties. We've then rolled for charges. Matty rolled a 3 and a 5, or a 1, 2 and a 5 I should say, losing the 5 because of his casualties. He got a re-roll because he has a support sitting here. He rolled a 3, so it was a 5 versus 7, so the French are coming down with Elan. The French brigade here have gone hesitant, which is not good because there's a battery there. We're probably going to withdraw. French cavalry here, well, we've been pretty decent so far, so we've got off and had another crack. And we have hit the, I'll bring you over, it would be them here. We scored a victory result. I rolled double 6, winning by 6, so they bugged out, they broke, ran away. We've charged on into the horse battery, which isn't going to get to do much, but get into combat with my chasseurs, who will be promoted to the guard after this battle. So the French cavalry have done amazingly well through its all-line campaign. And that brigade is now again on a falter because of the loss. So it's looking pretty dicey on that flank. The Prussian reserve under Jurgis is all hesitant, so none of it moved. So that's not helped the situation. Come over here, Anton is hastily moving forward. He has finally charged Mockern. We have our first combat in Mockern. So he'll be bringing the Lieb. It's the Lieb regiment, so they are veterans versus the Marines. So we'll see what happens. Going to get interesting. But the Prussian flank is looking pretty grim, particularly now that the French infantry have issued a redeploy and are on the attack. So I'll bring the final round to you. This will be the final turn of the evening, and I'll talk probably later. Okay, we're back. We've finished for the evening. It's now the morning here in Adelaide. It's a bit rain and drizzly outside. So I just wanted to walk you through what occurred towards the end of that turn. So the Prussians have Mockern. So the Lieb regiment charged in and engaged the French Marines. First round of melee was a 3 to 4 casualty result in favour of the Prussians. We opted to go second round. Both of us opted to throw in a reserve, and it was 11 dice to 10. The Prussians rolled 8 hits, amazingly good dice. Sadly, the French only managed 3, and we were ejected from Mockern in its entirety. So at the moment, there is one Prussian line occupying one sector. One sector is vacant. It'll be interesting to see what happens next turn, who gets the initiative, whether the French move in or he pushes through to try and take both. The Lieb regiment, or the Lieb battalion that attacked, is on 7 casualties. French Marines 11 and 4. Not looking good. Well, still got 3 fresh battalions in that brigade, so we'll see how it goes. So Lagrange is looking pretty good at this time. Still quite. I'm just going to pan back. We've got a visitor in the room. Very 4-legged critter wants to come in. So Prussian Landwehr Brigade has been hesitant for quite a few turns actually, which the Prussian plane noted, Anton. So looking quite an interesting combat situation over here. Prussian 12 pounders took a bit of stick, took 2 casualties. Did get a DT because I rolled 12 when I fired, and they got a retreat, so they limbered up and disappeared, went low on ammo. Prussians are still sitting back here near their base starting point, haven't really gone up against that zone. The French, that's Lagrange's division, sitting there, still in reasonable condition, apart from those two Marine battalions. So we discussed it last night. I sort of said to Anton, really considering what the French have actually done, there's nothing apart from artillery sitting in the centre here, as you can see. But there are 4 batteries on that hill, so that even getting there, you're going to take some punishment, but you could get there. If he attacks this area here, he does have 3 brigades, one there, and one there, to try and get amongst this and force my hand, and essentially, and maybe even secure Mockern totally. Over here, French did launch the redeploy order, so they're in attack mode. Sadly, my cavalry went hesitant. I couldn't charge, but they didn't need to. Mind you, my lead chasseurs have got 6 casualties. So the French are pushing down. We played now is your time. The Grenadiers here, the Silesian Grenadiers, I think the Silesian Grenadiers, I'm just going to have a quick stare at the back of them. No, I am incorrect. That is the League Grenadier Battalion. That has been dispersed, so I'll take that off shortly. The French Marines charged down with now is your time. Force them into Warn, and on the dice rolls, the French rolled 12 and the Prussians rolled 5, so they died a hideous death. What has happened here though is that they only left 2 battalions of the 6 in that brigade, so that brigade has dispersed, so I'll be taking it off shortly. So there's a massive hole here. Same here, the division as a whole is now ineffective. There is a Landwehr cavalry unit here. That's the mix of Lieb and Brandenburg Hussars. They're on 9 casualties. The Brandenburg Uhlans are way back here, retreated. The Jurgis's cavalry division, Dragoons and Landwehr are all hesitant. So the French have pretty much destroyed the Prussian left flank. So my chasseur brigade there has done wonderfully well against all those Prussians. I think they'll be getting mentioned in dispatches. Marmont's pretty pleased. He's sitting up on the hill there watching. So we talked about it last night. Definitely it's in the balance. It's what the Prussians can do. Turn 8, 12 turns to go. Can the Prussians actually hold Mockern? It's going to become a firefight between the two sections, I think. If the French get in, then it becomes basically a firefight, unless one of us wants to charge each other. But it's about how we get those supports in for the melees. It's going to get really interesting. I think it's literally going to be a bloodbath. But it also determines what happens with all these Prussians. There's 3 infantry brigades. I've only got 2 over there. 1 is engaged. 1 is basically sitting in the middle. They're all alone. The remaining French infantry is all over here on the hill. So the question now begs is, if the Prussians go crazy and attack my centre, I could be in a lot of trouble. So I need to get my infantry over there post haste. So I need lots of forwards orders, lots of good rolls here. Pivoting my artillery to basically shoot all those Prussians off. So turn 8, moving into turn 9. Look, I think one thing I haven't put into play yet is Norman's cavalry brigade. The Württembergers are sitting there waiting. I think we could probably hold back the Prussians if they come forward with infantry. And you're probably hearing my dog barking in the background, so apologies for that. So we'll see how we go. Look forward to next week, and thanks for watching.